As you guys probably know, iOS 12 was released today, or at least the developer beta was. So let's get straight into all the changes I noticed so far. First one is right here on the lock screen. Do you see this? Lock this in your head, okay? Lock the brightness of the background compared to the number. Now, this is a screenshot I took of the exact same background from iOS 11. Do you see the difference? Maybe not. It's actually pretty hard to see on camera. But you should notice that this one, the new one in iOS 12 with the same background, is much brighter. And I have varied the brightness settings, and that does not affect it. Because what you're looking at is the contrast here rather than the actual brightness. I can turn the brightness down if you want to prove it. You can still see these two are very similar shades, unlike in iOS 11, when the background was darker. This is also new. I don't believe it said that before, or if it did, I somehow never noticed throughout my year of using iOS 11. Of course, we have a new app called Measure, and this is a bit hard to do on camera, so let's see how I do. Pretty cool. The interface for voice memos has completely changed, with the recording button now being down there. Looks almost like a virtual home button. Interesting. Things are changing in iMessage. You can now tap the contact name and you will get some options there. The layout is also slightly changed. Of course, one of the bigger ones, Animoji and Memoji. You get this new splash screen when you first enter. If we continue here, you can see we now have a few more. We have the tiger, koala bear, dinosaur, and ghost. And then, of course, here's the big hit, Memoji. You get another splash screen, and then you can create your own. Pretty cool. Photos also get some changes. Of course, we have the new suggestions thing, but as you can see, because it just got iOS 12, it hasn't had time to scan it yet. But that is a thing, I promise. Very minor changes to the keyboard here. You can see that this autocorrect, or whatever you want to call it, the auto suggest bar, I guess, it is now the same shade as the background of the keyboard. It was not that way before. I believe it was darker. I'm not actually sure if I like this. Here's probably one of the biggest ones, Notification Center, or notifications in general, rather. See, they're now stacked and grouped together. Right now I only have CNN notifications, all the rest are cleared, but this will do for now. So yeah, now all from the same app or same category are grouped together, and then you can 3D touch on the top one, it'll show you just the top one, or if you just tap, it'll reveal all of them. I have a lot. You can choose to show less, or you can choose to clear, and it'll clear everything. One of the bigger new features, once again, is screen time. Shows you how much you've been using your phone and how you've been using it. So, of course, we have these where you can schedule time away, set time limits for apps, choose apps that you want allowed at all times, and block inappropriate content. This is, of course, also usable for parental controls. As you can see by the family usage, I have blocked out a name. And then here, I've only been updated for 45 minutes, but you can see pretty cool. And then last 7 days, of course, we only have today's. So that'll show you and analyze how you've been using your phone. And it might give you some more informed choices. Adding on to the trying to fight the phone addiction thing, we now have Do Not Disturb while sleeping, or as it's called in here, bedtime mode. I believe those are the same thing, I'm not 100% positive, but this is definitely new. Because of some of the new features, settings has been slightly changed in terms of the layout. So what has happened here is, of course, screen time has been added in this little block, but also sounds and haptics has been moved up from this section, and control center has been moved down to this section from up here, which is quite interesting. I have an iPhone box in the way so I can block out other names and faces. However, FaceTime, of course, some big changes here. There are a few more minor changes that I can't show right now because I can't FaceTime anyone. But the biggest one, of course, is group FaceTime. So That's going to allow up to, I think it was 32 people, which is huge. Hey Siri. So Siri's getting a lot smarter now. She can now be pre-programmed using what they're calling shortcuts, which basically, well, they simplify things and automate things. Like in their demonstration, I believe they said, I'm heading home or something, and then it automatically triggered something that you can pre-program, which in their case was a text message. Additionally, it can also control things like HomeKit and other things that are compatible, including, I think they demoed presenting an estimated travel time or something, so that's pretty cool. I can't really demonstrate any of that here, because that would require a lot of work, and I'm making a separate video on that, so look in the description for that. The app that nobody ever used, ever, is getting a refresh. Welcome to stocks. So you get this new splash screen, as they're bragging about all new design, market news, and iCloud. So continue, you can see there's, I don't think it's actually that new. It looks a little bit refreshed, but it's not like completely different. It still looks roughly the same. You do have this sort of trend line now, which is pretty cool. And then of course, it's connected to Apple News, which is also pretty cool. And pretty useful for anyone who actually uses this app. New update is Apple News. So we can see a slightly different layout. It looks a little bit different. Spotlight, today, browse. Have to admit, I don't really use news, so I'm actually not too sure what is different about it. You guys can probably see though. There are Siri suggestions, and as you guys probably, well, as I just told you, it is connected to stocks, so I do know that. Now called Apple Books instead of iBooks, it's also been revamped. You can see stunning new experience, la da 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 da. So, slightly different in the app. Oh. We can see, there you go, books. We are rocking a colorful, brand new waterfall, brand new wallpaper in iOS 12. Only one though, which is actually a little bit disappointing. Okay, so far I've just been going over the UI changes, or the ones that you'll actually experience or be affected by. However, as a developer, there is also quite a few things behind the hood that I changed. For example, ARKit. So augmented reality, that's getting revamped, all that stuff. So behind the scenes, of course, there's also stuff for developers. I'm just not going to be going over that in this video. Additionally, privacy, this one does kind of affect you, I guess. I believe they're doing something about the tracking, all that stuff. I'm not really clear on that, but I just know that your privacy is getting further protected by Apple. And finally, you've been waiting for it. You've been waiting far too long for it. They're adding a dark/night mode. Ha, psych, it's Apple. They'll never give you what you want. We're never getting a night mode. Just kidding. But yeah, in all seriousness, there is no night mode. I just turned the brightness way down. But that really needs to come out. I'm really hoping it'll come out in like an iOS 12.1. I don't know, but that's seeming really unlikely for now. Just one last thing I noticed. Automatic updates is now a setting you can switch in the software update page. And that's a wrap for iOS 12 Beta 1. That is simply all I've noticed. Of course I've missed some, but I've tried to go through as thorough as possible. So comment down below. Feel free to leave comments on what I may have missed. I do not recommend installing the software on your personal device like I have, but so far, to be honest, it has been pretty bug-free for the most part. It's been fairly stable, haven't experienced crashes in any of my apps yet. So I'm not guaranteeing you'll get the same experience. So once again, I do not recommend it. I will be making a full video on all the bugs, and a full video on Siri and the measuring app. I may decide to do more videos, I am not sure yet, but those are definitely coming. So be on the lookout for those. Thanks for watching.